Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show that is not a show. It's the Weekly Pint. It's a happy hour. It's an excuse for us to all to hang out together, have a drink together. You don't have to drink beer. You don't have to drink alcohol at all. Just so everybody who is jumping on the chat understands that it's okay. You can drink whatever you want, but you have to have something, even if it's like water or iced tea or something, because that's the point. We're sitting around a table having a drink together. So part of this is to take part in the conversation with each other. That's kind of what you do when you're hanging out drinking together. So feel free to chime in. Let me know what it is you're drinking or not drinking, or what you would like to be drinking or not drinking. Because, again, it's the whole point. Justin says, what's up? What's up? Josh, what's up? Justin fell off his skateboard. At a certain point, you should not get on a skateboard. It's just asking for trouble. Danny wants to know when the chugging starts. I don't know. You guys are free to chug whenever you would like to. I will not be chugging. Caroline says, no beer for me tonight, unless I decide to get off the couch, which probably won't happen. Got to figure out a way to get the beer closer to you. Rig up some kind of lasso system or hooks and something. You could figure something out. Marcus says hi, and he grabs some truth from Higher Gravity. And Josh is drinking a Westside Double IPA. I was going back and forth on what I was going to drink because the plan originally tonight, which, as you guys probably noticed, is another week without a brewcast on Monday. And in addition, we're a day late for the Weekly Pint because there has just been so much stuff going on, which is a good thing. And I love everything that's happening in my life, but it is a lot crammed into not many days. So I was going to record a kind of short, abridged apology episode of the Brewcast after I finished the Weekly Pint tonight. And in that, I was going to drink what I decided I'm going to drink tonight, but we'll talk about that in a second. I decided as I was falling asleep on the couch right before putting the kids to bed, or the kid to bed, that there's no way I'm going to have the energy in me to wrap this up and then immediately jump into an episode of the Brewcast. So I'm probably not going to record it. I'm going to try to, maybe later this week, to do something. I don't know. I also don't have an episode of Drinking with the Gnome finished. I have it almost there. I thought about also doing that one tonight. That's, again, probably not going to happen. I'm hoping that I will finish one of those shows, either the Brewcast or Drinking with the Gnome, tomorrow afternoon, in theory. So I have this little window while the oldest is at school and the youngest sometimes takes a nap. So if the boy naps, gives me just a little bit of time. I don't need much time to wrap up one of those shows. I'm going to do it. I can tell you what this week's episode of this week's, or whenever it posts, episode of Drinking with the Gnome is about. I don't know if you can see it back there. That little box right there. Blocks. We are talking blocks, which I assume most of you guys are at least slightly familiar with blocks and what they're all about. But if not, you will be after we're done, and we're going to drink a bunch of things with it, and it'll be fun. It'll be a good episode. But tonight, we are going to shift things around, and I'm going to drink what I was going to drink on this week's episode of Cincy Brewcast. And you guys can probably guess where I'm going with it. Oktoberfest. We are doing another Oktoberfest showdown. This one is Westside's Oktoberfest with a terribly labeled can. Look at the wrinkles in this. That's terrible. I'm sure it still tastes good. And then they are going head-to-head. This is going to be a tough one against Brinktoberfest. I'm already nervous about this one because I know both of these are great beers. So let's dive in. Has anybody done any Oktoberfesting yet? Did we go to Germania or any Oktoberfest festivals? Also, we are, I guess, full on into pumpkin season now, too, even though I'm still drinking Oktoberfests. I had my first pumpkin beer today. and actually really kind of enjoyed it. I'm going to put the West Side in the West Side mug just so that I can keep track of what's what a little bit better than I do sometimes. One of these days, I will have branded mugs for all of the breweries that release Oktoberfest beers. All right. Let's see. Joe says, just put my oldest down to sleep. No beer for me tonight. Josh said, I had to bring Toberfest earlier. It's pretty good. And Vernon said, went to Germany on Friday, then Saturday, and again Sunday. I respect that. I was there on Saturday and had an absolute blast, and really kind of wanted to go on Sunday too. But family day, you know how that goes. I didn't even put anything up on the screen for you guys. I'm sorry. Look, I'm slacking already. Again, talking about the point of the show, it's to have a conversation. There are a couple ways you can do that. You guys are figuring out the chat just fine, even though it wasn't on the screen. You can also call into the show if I can find buttons here. Phone number's right here on the screen, 567-70-DRINK. That's 567-703-7465. You can call in that way, and it'll put you in right here in the studio, and we can talk and whatever. Do whatever we do. Or, as you guys have discovered, the chat is also a nice, easy solution, which is right there. No matter where you happen to be watching the show, you guys can all come together in one nice, clean chat right here. As soon as somebody says something again, it'll refresh, in theory. Joe said, I believe the Donna Schwaben dancers performed on Sunday, very family friendly. I love almost all of the Oktoberfest. There's not many that I go to that I don't have a good time. Sometimes it can get a little warm at some of them, but that doesn't really make it a bad time for me. All right, I've got these two poured in front of me. I'll show them to you guys here in a second, but let's check out the cans. Let's read a little bit. West Side. This says it is a Märzen style lager, 5.2% ABV and 22 IBUs. Their description, which is hard to read because of all the wrinkles, again, on the label here, it says, this amber lager is made from German malts, German hops, and a German lager yeast for a truly authentic Oktoberfest beer. Clean, toasted bread malts with just a touch of hop spice give way to a clean, smooth finish. For a fest beer, you'll want to drink by the liter. I don't like that they call it a fest beer. I get it Oktoberfest, but especially when you have a fest beer as a style. So that's West Side. Always a local favorite this time of year. And then followed up with Brinktoberfest. This is a traditional Märzen style lager also. It's always fun when we get two that are the same style, not a fest beer versus a Märzen. Joe says, try dancing for an hour in a lederhosen. I'm not that I'm dancing for an hour, but you know what? I probably do dance for about an hour at some point during the night. I wear, instead of lederhosen, I have the Bundhosen, which are the longer ones, which is ridiculous when you go to some of these warm Oktoberfests. They're great at Chris Kindle Market and things like that, but Oktoberfest, it's until the sun goes down and it cools down. They're a little warm in the afternoon. This Brink is 5.7% ABV, and there's no description or anything that I can see on the can, except that it is brewed and canned by Brink Brewing Company under special agreement by Brink Brewing Company. You guys know what that means, which I believe is the case for both of these. Maybe not. I can never remember where the date's at. I don't know. Those might both be brewed by somebody else. Let's see. Justin says that his is sitting in the Bright Tank. I'm excited to try it. He also wants to know where Brink is. There's this little brewery. Go to the website. You can find everybody there. Almost everybody. We'll talk about that in a second. I came to a realization the other day that was kind of shocking to me that after we try these, I'll talk about. Don't let me forget to go back to that, or else I will. All right. This one here, this is your Brinktoberfest in the Sonder. I don't know if you guys can see that that's a Sonder mug, but It is nice and bright and clear. It's perfect color. It is a pretty beer. Nice head on it, although it's gone down a little bit since it's been sitting here. The Joe says, didn't know that West Side contracted. Yes, they are. We don't really talk about it a lot, and I don't know why, but a lot of their cans are produced other places or another place, especially the 12-ounce cans. I don't know if all of the 16-ounce cans are done in-house. I believe so, and I know that they are working very hard to get all of the canning back in-house, especially with the new expansion that they're doing and all of that. Yes. So this is the West Side. I don't know if you guys can see this. It is hazy, cloudy, definitely not as pretty looking. The color is still fine. It's got a nice head on it, but the beard is definitely not as pretty as the Brink, which does factor into my decision. I know that that's probably. Every beer competition takes appearance. Caroline wants to know where the beer cam is. The beer cam is really hard to turn on because I have to change over to this other screen and then look up and try to find the little button. But here's the beer cam. There we go. How's that? We did have the West Side Fest beer. I don't know when that was. Was that last week? Or yeah, was that last week that we did that on here? I don't know. I lose track of everything. But it's a great beer. Let's dive into these and see what we can smell. Joe says, I can't really tell the difference between the distro and the draft, so that's good. I can't always say that for some places. Sometimes I can, and we'll just leave it at that. Okay. These both smell good. Oh, it's delicious. I love the style. I was noticing at Germania, you guys will see, hopefully, you'll see something, a YouTube video coming up soon with Germania Oktoberfest, where I was on a mission to kind of explain the difference and try both Fest beer and Märzen and kind of showcase how different they are while Oktoberfesting. And it's hard to find a Märzen. There's a ton of Fest beers and a ton of things labeled Oktoberfest, but you don't always know what that means when you walk up. You can order an Oktoberfest, and it could come out looking like this. It could come out looking way lighter than this and in more into the Fest beer. You just don't know anymore, which is kind of frustrating as a beer drinker. Luckily, everybody that I encountered at the festival, if I walked up and I said, "Hey, that whatever, is that a Märzen or is that a Fest beer?" And they're, "Oh, that's a Märzen." Oh, perfect, I'll take that one. So that was good. Again, that's not always the case when you walk in somewhere. If you walk into a bar and you see something up on tap and it's labeled a Oktoberfest, not only do you not know what that's going to be, it's a crapshoot if the person that's pouring it knows what that is. Joe says, what was the beer variety like at Germania? It's been a minute since we've been. They were Vorsteiner exclusive 1 year. They were not exclusive to Vorsteiner. I don't know as far as a distributor if there was an exclusivity thing, but it was a good selection, I would say. And I don't remember all of the brands that were there. I know there was Bitburger. I drank Bitburger Fest beer for sure. There was definitely some Warsteiner. There's always Warsteiner there. There was 3 or 4 other brands that I just cannot remember for the life of me right now. But it was good enough. It was not as fun. There in years past, you sometimes get here we go. Palanir, Rathaus. Oh, that was right. There was the Rathaus pills. I did not get that, although I wanted to, and then just drank too much Oktoberfest. There is a fine line of having a good time at Oktoberfest and then the next morning realizing you had a bad time. I nailed it perfect, but one more liter of beer and it would have been a whole different story. It was good enough, but there was a move for a little while there where they started to have a little bit of a local kind of spin to it and get some other options, and I really like that. I would love to see some local Oktoberfest beers at every Oktoberfest festival. I get that it's a German society and it's celebrating German beer, but I am a huge believer that, especially Oktoberfest, the idea is not necessarily to be drinking German beer as much as it is to be to drink local, which was what Oktoberfest was always about in Munich. So I'd like to see some local representation, but maybe that's just me. Caroline says just stay away from the Jaeger and you'll be okay. That's not always true. You can just drink beer and end up not okay. I've definitely been there. But the Jaeger will get you there a little bit faster, or the schnapps. All right, let me get into this one here, this West Side. Yeah, this one is a little bit less dry. Not in a bad way. It's definitely dry enough that I would consider it to style. I'm getting hung up on the way it looks. I like I like a bright, kind of brilliant, pretty Oktoberfest beer, whereas again, this tastes fine, but it just doesn't look as good. Let me dive into them one more time just to make sure I'm not talking out of my ass. Yeah, I'm gonna. Although there is like a nice, there's a nice spicy hop, almost. It's not bitter, but a nice kind of spicy hop presence at the very end of the West Side that is good. What is blasphemy, Joe? That I like my Oktoberfest to look pretty? I mean, Oktoberfest should not be a hazy beer. I don't know of many lagers that should be hazy, unless it's kind of an unfiltered style, which there aren't a ton of that I can think of. I'm going to give it to Brink on this one. Brad says, make beer clear again. I agree, especially lager beer, unless it's a purposeful decision. But when you're trying to brew to a style, especially a style that is held to such a high regard here in Cincinnati, it's got to be dead on. And I know that this is not a proper representation of what West Side's Oktoberfest is supposed to be. Whether we can blame a contract partner, because I don't know if this was a contract beer or not. Whether we can blame some other fluke, I don't know. But yeah, I mean they're both good beers. That's the thing. That's what makes this exciting, is that they are both delicious. This one is just more delicious than the other one. So Brink moves on, and rightfully so. It's a good beer. To round 2, and Caroline says it's the label's fault. It was on correctly. The beer. That is it. This wrinkly label here. Let me hold it up so you guys can see it. This wrinkled up label is what made this one lose. Josh says it wasn't right on tap though either. Right. No, I didn't actually talk about that But no, when I was there picking all this beer up, and we hung out. And we had a few pints and half liters and hung out. The half liter of Oktoberfest that I got was not good at all. It was actually kind of not good, and still drank it. It was good enough that it was okay to drink, but I definitely brought it to the bartender's attention. He said that he had it the other day and it was fine, but he poured himself a little bit to try it and confirmed that no, something was definitely off. I did get a message later on that evening from Colin, who is the head brewer there at Westside, confirming that there was something going on with that keg, that they don't know what it was yet, but they were going to track it down, but that it was not representative of what that beer was supposed to be. That's not what's going on here. This is not what I drank the other day. This is leaps and bounds better. Brad says, with the grain drought the past year, it's making it tough to pass through filters and clean up the haze. Just because the grain is subpar. Is that what's going on? I'm curious about that, because clearly Brink figured it out. Theirs is brilliant and beautiful, and a lot of them that I've had this year are. Not to. This is not meant to at all shit on Westside, because I do think that they are making some of the best traditional styles in the city right now. There will probably be a chance. I don't know for sure yet or exactly how it's going to work. But there will probably be we're going to call it a loser's bracket. That's not a good way to describe it, though. There will be a chance for all of you guys to vote on one of the beers that got knocked out in that first round to get a spot into the competition later. I don't know where in the competition exactly. I don't know how that'll look yet. It depends when all things are, shaken out here, how many Oktoberfest beers are in the competition, and how that works out with brackets and all of that stuff. Brad says there's much more protein in the current grain brewers are using. Gotcha. So it's just there's more to be filtered. They're both fine. They're both fine beers. They're good. I would drink either one of these at any point, and I will. I'm going to drink them both tonight. So there's that. There was something else I was going to talk about earlier that I've forgotten. It's going to drive me crazy now. We talked about this week's Drinking with a Gnome. We talked about... Oh, goodness. I should have made myself a note. I'm bad at all of this stuff. One of these days I will figure out how to properly run a show, or a show that is not a show. There was something. Where's David when you need him? Yeah. I can't afford to pay anybody anything right now. Especially a producer. The chaos makes all of that difficult, especially since the beer dinner. I do want to talk about the beer dinner, but that wasn't it. The beer dinner. So last night, the reason that this show is happening on a Tuesday this week instead of a Monday is because High Grain hosted a amazing beer dinner, which, full disclosure, they gave me a ticket to. I have to always mention that whenever I talk about something that there was some kind of there's a mosquito flying around. I don't think that was him, but anytime there's something of monetary value exchanged, people should be telling you that. So I try to be very conscious of that. So I didn't buy my ticket just off the top, but it was amazing, and the fact that the ticket was free has no impact on the fact that I enjoyed it so much. There was 4 courses. Each course was paired up with either a high grain or a Bramari beer, a 10-ounce sample. So they poured us 40 ounces, 40 plus, because there was a welcome beer too, of beer that the lowest ABV I think was around 8%. So it's all very, very big beers. It was awesome. There was the welcome beer was their Pilsner. You could choose either high grains Pilsner, Lucen, which I'm sure most of you guys have tried at this point, and it's delicious. Or you could do a barrel-aged Pilsner from Bramari, which is the one that I tried because I'd never had it before, and it was good. A little boozy, but it was good. They had some kind of watermelon gazpacho, and then these little Cuban croquettes is what they called them. They're like a little fried disc of like a Cuban sandwich. So I guess like ham and I don't know what all was in there, but it was good. And then some kind of like mustard and like this big pickle right on top. Then they did ceviche, and I'm not going to remember what everything was paired up with. I should have taken notes, or I should pull up notes, but they had a ceviche for the second course. Third course was a Reuben tartare, so like this pieces of rye bread with like a deconstructed Reuben, I guess, but it was good. It was way better because I didn't think I was going to like that one. I'm not a huge Reuben fan, but the way they presented it was all really good with like this. They took the slaw and made some kind of like a vinaigrette out of it. Put that on top. Oh, it was good. The next course was a venison fillet, which was cooked absolutely perfect. It had some kind of raspberry butter sauce or something on it. Oh, so good. These little crispy potatoes all served with it. That was definitely one of the stars for me, or that was probably my favorite dish. And then dessert was a blondie ice cream sandwich with some kind of white chocolate sauce or something. So good. So just absolutely fantastic. And then afterwards, they had a couple of the guys from New Riff there doing tastings of a bunch of their bourbons, which I did not partake in because after the 40 ounces of big beers, I was not going to drink a bunch of bourbon also and then try to get home. So that was awesome. Joe says, we used to go to the Moorland Lager House before kids. I have definitely been to a few of those Lager House beer dinners and loved them. Absolutely loved them. This was definitely on par with what Moorland has done, and I can't encourage not only number one, everybody to go to these when they see them pop up. It's a little steep price-wise sometimes. Moorland was always very, very, very reasonable price-wise. And this was too. There was definitely a value to it, but the tickets were $100, which is steep for me at least to pay for a dinner, and I know for a lot of folks, especially when you have kids and family and all that stuff, it's hard to sometimes justify that. But that included your ticket for all your food, all the drinks, gratuity was included in that. It was kind of all inclusive, so it was good. Really, really good. Joe says, I bet High Grain's dinner was fantastic. The normal kitchen food is fantastic. Yes, but what was cool about this, too, was that it wasn't just High Grain. You had the folks from Bramari come up, too. And from what I understood, not only did they bring their beers to pair with half of the courses, but they took part in the kitchen side, too, the chef side, and kind of coming up with the meals and getting them prepared and everything. So, and Bramari, if you guys have never been to Bramari in Asheville, they are an incredible brew pub. They do food as amazing as they do beer. So it just fit so good. Excuse me. So good. Got to hang out with a few people that I don't get to see that often, and just fun. It was a good time. I always like a good beer dinner. I like to eat about as much as I like to drink beer, so it works out. And there's something about, for me, a beer dinner like that where you're almost forced to try things that you probably would never order. You know, like that Reuben tartare is a good example for me of something that if I saw it on a menu, there's not in 100 years would I ever order it because I think I'm not gonna like it. But if somebody kind of puts it in front of you and says, "Hey, this is the next course in your meal. Here you go," I'm definitely diving into it, and 9 times out of 10, I enjoy it a lot. So that was last night, and then coming home, and both my kids were still awake, and so I'm dealing with that. It's there's always chaos in my house. It's going to drive me absolutely crazy trying to remember what I was going to talk about. There was something else that I just have completely forgotten, and I can't stand that. We were talking about Oktoberfest, video coming. We talked about that. I do have a couple short videos that I've been working on too, like little Instagram reel kind of things. I did a tasting of all of the Urban Artifact, the seltzers, the Trick or Treat seltzers. I don't know if I talked about that last week or not, but we did try them all, and I think I know how I'm going to present that without spoiling anything. So that should be coming hopefully soon. I have to record some voiceover stuff for it, but other than that, Joe says somebody needs to rewind the video to see. I don't know if I said what I was going to talk about. Caroline says Big Sis. That was not it, but I definitely should talk about Big Sis. It's coming up on the 1st of October. I'm getting all of the gift baskets together for a killer raffle. That's a lot of people. It's one of the favorite things about it is that you go and you buy raffle tickets and put them in jars for all kinds of different swag bags and stuff, and get to win some cool stuff. And all of the proceeds go to charity. We did settle on a charity finally this year. We're going to give all of the proceeds from the event, and I don't know if we know exactly the amount per pint of beer. It'll definitely be probably $1 or something like that. And that'll all go to Brewhouse Dog Bones, which is fantastic charity. We Lisa Graham is a huge fan of, I guess, a friend of Cincy Brewcast. We had her on the show way back in the first season, very early on. I don't remember what episode it was, but it was very early on, and I'm excited to be able to bring them in and to give back to them a little bit this year. So Big Sis is going to be good. If you work for a brewery, own a brewery, know somebody who does, or for any company really, you can donate to the cause. The drunk line is ringing, so I'm going to answer that real quick while I'm saying this. If I can remember what button it is. Hey, you're on the Weekly Pint. Give me just 1 second to wrap up my thought, or else I will forget this too. If you work for any kind of company and you want to donate any kind of gift cards or a basket or anything to the raffle, just get a hold of me and we can figure something out, because we need as much stuff to give away as possible. Julia says she ordered her Big Sis shirt. I will definitely have the link posted again soon, but you can pre-order only. They're not going to be available to purchase at the event, but Maria Pastorad makes Big Sis shirts every year. They're collectible items. Is this Marco? Is my assumption right now?
Hey, it is Marco. Hello, everyone.
Sorry to leave you hanging there for a minute.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. A lot's been going on, certainly in your life and, everyone's lives, and a lot's been going on in my life, buddy. I wanted to get out there and let your listeners know about a big thing in my life, which is that Truth Beer Pod is going to be live at Fretboard on September 12th. So yeah, big thing in my life right now that is going on. Julia and I are going to be live
It's going to be awesome.
at Fretboard September 12th with Truth Beer Pod. And so please, all your listeners, all our listeners, and anyone who cares about Cincinnati craft beer, show up and show out for
I'll definitely be there.
Live.
I will not only
Well,
be
thank
there,
you.
I will definitely be there, but there's a chance I will also, after you guys wrap up your show, be sitting in a corner doing an episode of this show.
Well, that'd be awesome. That will be awesome, and we are looking forward to that. And so I just I don't know if there's been enough social media talk about us being there, but I wanted to make sure that for everybody, like Zane Lamprey listens to this, and a lot of people who are big influencers listen to this and correspond in this. I mean, from all over the globe, like Dayton and Columbus. They listen to this.
All corners of the universe.
All corners of the universe. And so please show up to Fretboard on September 12th.
Is there a Facebook event for it yet?
I don't know. Fretboard's mainly in charge of that, but I could
just make one.
Quasi corner Julia into maybe something of the nature.
Yeah, put one together so we can get it shared around.
She does everything for Truth Beer Pod except for me showing up and being a Stugatz on Truth Beer Pod. I just want everyone to know.
The only thing that Julia doesn't do is the Morgan
amazing.
Freeman impressions.
Well,
else
she will do those if needed, and I think it might be today, the recording today, where she does try one.
Yeah, I did.
And
hear
then
one.
we need to vet that out a little bit. But yeah, there's it's possible that Julia's working towards, with impressions and all the other stuff that she does, being able to do the show totally on her own and just drop the dead weight that I am. So, but
well,
anyways,
I can tell you guys that doing a show on your own is much more difficult than doing it with somebody else. 100%. So, don't dump him too soon, Julia.
Please, Julia, don't dump me too soon. Anyways, truly enjoy all of the Weekly Pints. It's my first time listening, but anyways, I enjoy all of them. And thank you for taking my call. I've been a long-time caller, first-time listener. So anyways, take care, Noam. Talk to you later.
Thank you for calling in. I was hoping Marco was going to be calling to remind me of what I was going to talk about that I forgot. It's going to drive me crazy. Julia says, I still need someone to help me carry the equipment and my beers to the car, so Marco's not going anywhere anytime soon. The more compact you can get that set up, the less likely you are to need them, though. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. It's going to drive me absolutely crazy. I talked about blocks. Yeah, don't know at all. I feel like it was something to do with like Oktoberfest or I don't know. My brain is fried, you guys. There's only so many things you can work on simultaneously before parts of your head just kind of start shutting down. I think that is what is happening to me. I also hear my 5-year-old running back and forth above me, so I don't know what's happening upstairs. But Julia says that 13 Below has Fest beer and Märzen in cans, apparently. I can get you some if you don't have enough for your brackets yet. I don't know if it's really in cans. So 13 Below, they do can, but they also hand fill on like their crowler machine. I'm not counting those as official cans. However, same way with Humble Monk, I am accepting anything that people want to add into the competition. There's no such thing as too much. Although the fridge is getting very full, but yeah, I will accept anything, but I don't know that it's really cans. I have to draw a line somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I will look into it. I was happy to see that I was happy to see that Street Side did a Fest beer. Brad says, do you have a bracket up? I do, kind of. It's not really formatted as a bracket. If you go to thegnarlygnome.com/OktoberfestQuest, one word, no spaces, on there it gives you the rundown of where I'm at in the competition. Although, obviously, this matchup is not, the winner is not marked on there yet. And I think maybe even whatever one was right before that is not marked on there yet. But it'll give you the full round one so far. And the next few matchups are actually on there too, so you can see who's going to be going against who. And you can see as each person wins how they'll drop into the next rounds. So you can it's a bracket, but not formatted properly. Caroline says, what did they have when we were there the other week? So far, the only things that I've seen them can, there was that amber ale, oh, there we go. Oh, maybe there is a dash. I thought there was no dash. No, because okay. You can click this link here. That works too. Or if you just go to thegnarlygnome.com/OktoberfestQuest, no space, that'll take you there too. That's just the easier one to remember to say out loud. But yes, there's the link right there. It'll take you to it, and you can see the bracket there. One of these nights, I'll get a pretty bracket drawn up. Yeah, it just redirects to it. 13 Below's Fest beer is extremely light, both in taste and ABV. Makes it really easy to drink by the liter. I haven't got to try it yet, but I definitely will definitely get my hands on it at some point. Just whether or not it makes it into the bracket or not is the bigger question. Because there's a lot of stuff in this bracket. There's a lot of people that are doing Oktoberfest that haven't before. I would say a lot. There's a few new ones in there that definitely expand it a bit. And I haven't even started doing round 2 matchups, which I probably need to pretty soon just to help start clearing some space out of the fridge and start moving into those later rounds. But I'm still definitely, maybe a hair past halfway through round 1, maybe. I don't know off the top of my head. It's a lot. I will probably bring, I don't know, 3 or 4 different matchups. I say this like you guys know this. Labor Day weekend is one of those weekends every year that my family and I usually go camp. So it gives me a chance to just sit around and drink a ton of beer. So I usually do at least 1 or 2 of the Oktoberfest showdowns while we're camping. I'm going to try to bring probably 3 of them to do, just to knock out kind of some of those first ones from the second round. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It'll be fun one way or another, right? Anyways, we'll wrap this up, and if I remember what I was going to talk about, I'll call each and every one of you individually and tell you. Brad says we will be in Brookville this weekend camping. I'll be up that way, not quite Brookville, but up towards Oxford. So I'll wave. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know I every week tell you that I'm very appreciative of the idea that this can even exist, but I do mean that from the bottom of my heart. This show that's not a show is still something that's very important to me. I mean, what is this? I think it says on the title of the stream, it's like episode 141 or something, that we've been getting together and doing this weekly thing. So I appreciate it. I hope you guys all enjoy it too. I would assume you wouldn't come hang out with me if you didn't enjoy it at least a little bit, but who knows? Maybe you're just a glutton for punishment. If you enjoy all of this stuff that I do, even the stuff like Cincy Brewcast that I haven't been doing the last couple weeks because I'm terrible at all of this, you can always support by going to thegnarlygnome.com/support. It helps a lot. We'll get back into some semblance of normalcy. Trying to figure out this schedule is really, really crazy, but I'm figuring it out. We are getting back into some kind of a routine with Drinking with the Gnome, figuring out some ways to do that. I have a couple new ideas coming up with that, with some guests maybe. So if, on that note, if you want to be a guest on an episode of Drinking with the Gnome, and if you want to go drink with the gnome somewhere, shoot me a message, and I'll put you on a list, and we'll figure something out where we'll go grab a drink. That's the hard part about that, is it's usually on a weird time, on a weird day, because of family life. I don't usually get to go grab a drink at 8 p.m. on a Friday, when most people like to go grab a drink. I'm more like a noon on a Thursday kind of guy. It's the only time I can figure anything out. But if you want to go Drinking with the Gnome, shoot me a message and we'll figure something out. We'll get you on an episode, because that's part of what that episode is about, is going to different places and kind of talking about what they're all about. In a very different way than the Brewcast does. But point of all of this is that I appreciate you guys, and you are what makes this Weekly Pint an actual thing. So thank you very much, and stay tuned, because there is good stuff coming. There's tons of good stuff coming. Lots of good video stuff, audio stuff. You never know. Cheers, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good one, guys. In addition to everybody showing up to Truth Beer Podsequences live at Fretboard in September, you should also buy tickets for Zane Lamprey at Fretboard in September, because I'm going to be there too, and I know Marco's going to be there too, and we're just all going to hang out and drink together. So we should get a big crowd of people to be able to hang out and all drink together. So get your tickets, and I guess you don't need tickets for Truth Beer Pod. Cheers, everybody.